Okay.
You got this, Vicki.
Huh?
You got this.
Hey, I put together a PowerPoint recently with music and video. It looked like crap, but I did.
TikTok too?
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Blaney,
Present.
Commissioner Good, Commissioner Biggs,
Here.
Councilmember Rivas, Councilmember Grant,
Here.
Councilmember Jessen,
Here.
Councilmember Larson, Councilmember Paparad,
Here.
Councilmember Sims,
Here.
and Councilmember Witten. And I don't see any advisory board members.
COVID. Oh. COVID.
Present.
Okay, so we need to do the approval of the minutes from September 22nd, 2020.
Make the motion.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, let's move into our capital city presentation, Amanda.
Okay, great. Hello, everyone. My name's Amanda Black. Good to see everyone again. Thanks for having me. So I've got a pretty brief agenda today. I'm going to cover the normal quarterly report. I'll give you an update on how things have gone since then, and then we'll do a quick look at the investment policy statement. We just made some housekeeping type of edits. So on the considerations and observations page of the report, that's where we just set up the agenda. I did want to note that following last quarter's meeting, we did implement the new equity managers that you all voted to put into the portfolio. So those happened on September 23rd, and that was reflected in this report. And then the other thing that's noted on here is just that we helped you go into a different share class of that BlackRock fund to save some fees. So let's look at performance. On page 1, we have a market overview page. This is just of the broad market to set the stage for how your portfolio did. So really in the third quarter, we saw a continuation of the positive movements that we had seen in the second quarter, but then things started to retreat a little bit in September and then even into October. So we saw positive returns really across the equity market, across all styles, but not quite as strong as they had been in the second quarter. During the period, large cap or larger company stocks tended to do better than smaller company stocks, and then growth types of stocks did better than value. So things like technology and consumer discretionary did better. At the same time, results were pretty strong both in non-U.S. and emerging markets as well. So you can see those returns all in the middle of the page with those blue bars. Now, with that said, over the one-year period, we're still seeing some negative performance in certain areas of the stock market, including value-oriented stocks, both on a large cap basis and a small cap basis. So again, this is just the broad market. At the bottom of the page, you can see fixed income returns have really been outstanding, and I would kind of preface this by saying that we should not expect these type of returns going forward in the fixed income market. So with interest rates where they are now so low, we really don't expect to see this going forward, but it's been very additive to your performance. So broadly speaking, these returns in the market have all been spurred by the really unprecedented monetary and fiscal stimulus that we've seen as a result of the pandemic. All right, so let's look at page 2. So to see how your portfolio did, you can see there in the middle of the page, your portfolio ended on September 30th with $176,688,420, representing a return of 4.7% for the quarter, bringing your 12-month return to 11.1%. So I do want to get you up to speed here with what we have seen since then. So for the period starting October 1st through yesterday, you added another 3.7% in positive return, bringing your market value to $183,492,000. $191,437. And on a year-to-date basis, so from January 1st through the depths of February, March, to now, we're looking at a 10.3% return year-to-date, which is not something I would have predicted, but very happy to see this portfolio hold up so well, and really much better than other foundations because of the higher allocation to fixed income that served as a buoy during all the downturn, but yet we still participated in the equity markets, and then maintaining that allocation throughout the downturn really helped you as well. So if you'll remember, we rebalanced, and even though, sometimes it's difficult when equities go down and fixed income goes up, you sell your fixed income and you buy the equity, and sometimes that can feel painful, but that's really what led to this very strong performance. So now I want to look and kind of show you how this compares to the benchmarks that we use to judge this performance. It's one thing to just say it's good on an absolute basis, but on page 4, we can look at how you've performed relative to your benchmarks. So over the last year, your portfolio, year-to-date, 6.75%. So again, that's just from January 1st through September 30th, 6.75. And you can see the peer group is the gray box there on the chart. And the number 2, next to your letter A, that means that you ranked in the second percentile of all foundations across the country with that return. And again, there are times where you may be at the bottom of that peer group. This time it served you well to have such a conservative allocation. So at the same time, you ranked well in the peer group, but you also have beat your benchmarks over that time. So the evaluation benchmark was 4.56. So that's just a passively allocated benchmark that directly corresponds to your asset allocation. So that's the way we look and see if your managers that we've helped you select are doing a good job. So your managers outperformed by well over 1.5%. And then your performance target is basically taking your 5% kind of bogey on an annual basis, and then as of September 30th, you would have had to have hit a 3.73% to be on your way to hitting that 5% over a full year period. So those are those 2 benchmarks and what they mean. Now going out all the way through inception, so if we go back to April of 2016 when we put all this together, your portfolio has had an average annual return of 7.58%. One more chart I want to show you is page 6. So I just told you that average annual return of 7.58%. On page 6, that corresponds, the chart at the top there, to a cumulative return of 38.9%, and that represents an investment gain over that time of just over $51 million. So that's the performance update. Any questions about the report? Okay.
Do you guys have any questions?
No, good, thank you.
Okay. Well, let's look at the investment policy statement. So just to explain what you have in your book, there is an investment policy statement that has our markups, the red line markups, that's bound in the book. And then separately, there's a stapled clean copy if you want to kind of look at the 2. Sometimes it's hard to look at the red line. Sometimes it's hard to see what we've done. So we've included both for your reference. Now, if you look at the cover page, it just says Appendix Updated November 2020. Now, look at the table of contents just inside that, and you can see all these things, the definitions, the background, the objectives, all of those things. None of those have been updated or edited. Those are all fine, and we don't think you require any edits to those. Because of that, these are all just kind of informational edits. We don't need to restate this. We don't need to re-sign it. We don't need to vote on it or anything like that. With that said, I do think it's always a good time of the year for you all as a board to formally look at this document and make sure that you're still okay with everything in it, and you should always just let us know if you have any feedback on that. So with all that said, you can go all the way to the appendix. It starts behind page 15, and there you can just see the red line edits of what we've changed. So we just updated the market value to be more current. Then on the next page, we just copied in the most recent portfolio construction slide from that asset allocation study we did earlier this year. And then, again, that one's easier to see on the clean copy. And then the next couple of pages of edits have to do with the changes we made to your active equity managers. So we just updated the tables to reflect what's currently in your portfolio, and then accordingly, we updated some of the glossary items. So like I said, all of these are just kind of informational. And then finally, on the, let's see, on Appendix C, we just updated that table to delete your old managers, insert your new ones, and then update the benchmark to appropriately match your asset allocation. So you are welcome to, like I said, you don't have to formally vote on this, but if there are any questions, of course, I would field those now, but you can also always feel free to get back to me if you have a chance to look at this more closely and have any issues or feedback.
Sounds like all good news.
I like to come on days where it's all good news.
It's kind of hard to want to change anything when
Right.
it's her return. Anybody have any questions for Amanda?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, well, thanks
Okay.
all.
Thank
Again,
you.
good
Thank you very
to
much.
see
Thank you.
Short
Okay.
and sweet.
Have a good holiday.
Yeah, you too, take care.
Have a
Have a
very
safe trip home.
I will, thank you.
Okay, so let's move on to the attorney's report.
I have nothing.
Okay. Any other matter that may come before the board? We do, before we get to anything else, let's do the approval of the claims, so we don't forget that. We've got Capital City, $16,250 for the third quarter billing period, which is July 1st to September 30th, 2020.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Then we've got the Cat Stapper and Miller audit claim for $3,900. Any questions on that one?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And then the IRS Form 990 return, you want to talk about that?
Oh, I think that is just to inform the board that that has been submitted to the IRS, been accepted, and so you're up to date with your audit as well as your tax return.
Thank you.
Any questions? Okay, any other matters that need to come before this board? Should we schedule the next meeting?
Very good.
When do we need to do that? February?
Just in the first quarter.
So,
Could it be March?
March ends up like spring break though, I think.
Oh. You wanna
Maybe
take-
February. get
February
started.
council meeting?
Yeah.
When's your
At the end of the
February
month.
council meeting? Anybody got a calendar up?
Fourth Tuesdays, all right?
Yeah.
We make it a commissioner and council day.
Fourth Tuesday is the 23rd.
February council meeting.
All right, let's shoot for February 23rd. I don't know what our schedule is.
Sounds good.
Do you have it with you?
Yeah, I do have my phone, I do bring my phone in.
Unusual. All right, let's shoot for February 23rd. If we have to change it, we have to change
Sounds
it.
good.
Say 5 o'clock or 4:30?
4:30?
Yeah, 4:30. All right, anything else? All right, motion, or meeting's adjourned.